भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति निष्ठिके. Hare Krishna. So we will continue our discussion from the place where we left last week. It is in page 33 from the paragraph. It says Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We'll read the Loka translation and continue from there. Atyahara prayashashta prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha lauryam cha shadbir Translation and purport given by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about the mundane subject matters, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, and sixth, being greedy for mundane achievements. Purport. Page 33. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anuvriti commentary that too much endeavor for acquiring knowledge on the part of mental speculators or dry philosophers falls within the category of atyahara, collecting more than needed. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, the endeavor of philosophical speculators to write volumes of books on dry philosophy devoid of Krishna consciousness is entirely futile. Hare Krishna. I'll read this line. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, the endeavor of philosophical speculators to write volumes of books on dry philosophy devoid of Krishna consciousness is entirely futile. That means any book which we have, which is against the principles of devotional service, is like a useless endeavor. The work of karmis who write volumes of books on economic development also falls within the category of atyahara. Similarly, those who have no desire for Krishna consciousness and who are simply interested in possessing more and more material things, either in the shape of scientific knowledge or monetary gain, are all included under the control of atyahara. Karmis labor to accumulate more and more money for the future generations only because they do not know their future position. Interested only in getting more and more money for their sons and grandsons, such foolish persons do not even know what their position is going to be in the next life. There are many incidents that illustrates this point. Once a great karmi accumulated a vast fortune for his sons and grandsons. But later, according to his karma, he took his birth in a cobbler's house located near the building, which in his previous life he had constructed for his children. Hare Krishna. It so happened that when this very cobbler came to the former house, his former sons and grandsons beat him up with shoes. Unless the karmis and jnanis become interested in Krishna consciousness, they will simply continue to waste their life in fruitless activities. Accepting some of the scriptural rules and regulations for immediate benefit as utilitarians advocate is called as niyamagraha, and neglecting the rules and regulations of the shastras which are meant for spiritual development is called as niyam agraha. The word agraha means eagerness to accept and agraha means failure to accept. By the addition of either of these two words to the word niyama, rules and regulations, the word niyamagraha is formed. Thus, niyamagraha has twofold meanings. Niyamagraha has twofold meanings that is understood according to the particular combination of words. Those interested in Krishna consciousness should not be eager to accept rules and regulations for economic advancement Yet they should very faithfully accept scriptural rules and regulations for the advancement of Krishna consciousness. They should strictly follow the regulative principles by avoiding four regulative principles: illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. One should also avoid association with Mayavadis who simply blaspheme Vaishnavas, devotees. Bhuktikamis who are interested in material happiness, Muktikamis who desire liberation. Who desire liberation by merging in the existence of the formless absolute Brahman. And Siddhikamis who desire for perfection of mystic yoga practices are classified as Atyaharis. Hare Krishna. To associate with such persons is not at all desirable. Desire is to expand the mind by perfecting mystic yoga, merging in the existence of Brahman, or attaining whimsical material prosperity are all included within the category of greed, laulya. All attempts to acquire such material benefits or so-called spiritual advancement are impediments on the path of Krishna consciousness. Modern warfare waged between capitalists and communists. Actually, we'll stop here and we will try to discuss this. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmanitam mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam mena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadhamayam Vadati Swapadantikam Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya Yavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Pam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dina Tarinam Hare Krishna. Actually, Chippiwada is a place Srila was reiterating. I was just remembering how Srila Prabhupada took so much hardships actually. Just imagine, dear devotees, 40, 50 years, a person tirelessly, repeatedly doing the same thing again and again with no results. Do we ever see anyone in this world doing that? We don't see anyone. That means it clearly shows his faith, his conviction towards Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and all the predecessor acharyas and the lordships, Shri Gaur Nitai, and the divine merciful couple, Shri Radha and Krishna. His faith towards them is unimaginable. Dear devotees, I'll give an example. You are reciprocating to a person. You are trying to give. You are trying to give. You are trying to extend yourself and then trying to offer a relationship. But from the other side, the person is not accepting it. You're trying to do it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, 2 years. There's no reciprocation. He's seeing you as a fig, fit for nothing person. Do we continue reciprocating with that person? We don't. We give it up. Either 1 year or 2 years, we give it up. For Srila Prabhupada, 40, 50 years, no results. But he was continuously doing it again and again. Dear devotees, that person has written what we discussed now. That means every line which he has written is an absolute truth. Every sentence which he has given us with love, because his love actually. These statements, the statements which we are seeing here, such as interested only in getting more and more money for their sons and grandsons, such foolish persons do not even know what their position is going to be in the next life. It looks heavy actually. But dear devotees, if we see his struggle to write the first 3 volumes of Bhagavatam, the first from the first canto, just 3 volumes printed. It took him so much struggle. Even that very same place of Chippiwada, where Srila Prabhupada was trying to preach, was preaching actually. And then he had to move. He had to move to this next thing because he had to do a couple of other services regarding printing books. He had to leave that place. Then he said, told one devotee, you please continue. Do you please continue what I gave? He continued for a few days, but he couldn't continue further. What is the reason for that? Srila Prabhupada personally told him to do that. Again, Srila Prabhupada was being personally told by his spiritual master to do that. Now, how was he able to do that? How was this person was not able to do that? It is feeling their relationship, feeling their presence in our life. Dear what is this entire material world? If you want to aspire this material world, or if you want to develop a relationship with this world, because Jiva is Satchitananda. It is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. These 3 things are there. No matter that Jiva is in the internal energy or in the external energy, it doesn't matter. Jiva is always there. Jiva always has this quality. No matter if he has this body, that body, it doesn't matter. So naturally, Jiva will try to cultivate a relationship in this particular world through the external energy, not through the material, not through the internal energy, because the sadhaka will only come to the platform of internal energy when he has a deep conviction and relationship with the acharyas and the spiritual master. Otherwise, there is no question actually. So, if we see his struggle, that's why devotees are very, very sincere. They go to those places because they want to see how Srila Prabhupada took those hardships. Those places are not like big, big streets or this, that. It's very, very lowly places. Just imagine that person. Even if you see Butler, Pennsylvania, I don't know how many of you have been to that place. It's a very lowly place. It's been kind of, it's not like big, big places in America. Butler, Pennsylvania is like from Pittsburgh, it's like half-hour drive, very close by. Even that place where Srila Prabhupada, he was using the same refrigerator that Shalia was using. She used to keep her non-veg items and Prabhupada used to, put some vegetables there. Just imagine how this person accepted all of these things. What is his conviction? What is his faith on the process? Even at Butler, Pennsylvania, nothing is happening. But still, he's playing with the daughter of Shalia Garwal and then trying to give them Krishna consciousness. He was trying to preach there in the Butler, Pennsylvania, before he goes to New York. And the New York, it's another area, it's another downgraded area, most degraded area in entire America. He goes there. Dear devotees, I don't know how many of you been to New York City, especially Tompkinson Square Park. I have not seen any of those places in New York, but I've just seen the Tompkinson Square Park. Dear devotees, heart will melt, dear devotees. I was unable to stand there for 5 minutes actually, because it's so nasty place. Unable to stay there for 5 minutes. So smelly. Just imagine Srila Prabhupada. I always think about this. Even now, there are not many hippies there. But those places when Srila Prabhupada came, there's so many people like that. So many bumps who don't know anything, the purpose of this life. We're simply there actually. At that place, Srila Prabhupada went there and then chanted for a few hours. What might have went through his consciousness? What was he thinking through? Even at that time, nothing was happening. He was just chanting. But his conviction and faith on the instructions of his spiritual master, that is the greatest thing Krishna is watching. Because Krishna is watching that thing, dear devotees. Because the class only stays for 1 hour or 1.5 hours. And then after that, we all have our own life. So whatever we are doing in through our own life, that is what Krishna is watching actually. I remember my spiritual master telling to all of us in the class, he told us, if you want to advance in Krishna consciousness, your class will begin after the class. What is that? If you want to advance in Krishna consciousness, your class is not this class. Okay, this is class to here. But real class or real test will begins when? After the class. Dear devotees, the more we develop this kind of relationship with our founder Acharya, with our superior, with our spiritual master, dear devotees, what happens is, trust me, we will be able to follow all these principles diligently with much more conviction in the heart. And all these pastimes will not be like pastimes without any connection. I'll give another example. Just like a child who actually feels relationship with his father or his parents, what does he do? Wherever he go, whatever he do, in whatever state of consciousness he is, he will always remember them, especially during the tough times or during the difficulties, right? Or during the happy times, because he will also see that presence, see their presence, because he has a relationship with his parents. So likewise, dear devotees, when we cultivate this relationship with our founder Acharya, with our spiritual master, then what happens? Naturally, their instructions will also dissipate in our heart. They will not fly away. What happens? The instruction will be in the heart. So to the point, real class begins when? After the class completes. That means, how does the class begins after the class? The way how we react, the way how we respond to this world, the way how we see this world, the way how we take care of each other, the way how we treat our family members, the way how we should always see, if this is a situation given to me, how my spiritual master would have seen the situation, and then how Srila Prabhupada would have seen what they would have done in this situation. Through that we make progress, because what are we doing? We are trying to put in everything them we are not putting ourselves. When we put our acharyas, what happens is our presence will be diminished. That means our behavior or our understanding or our, because we came with the baggage. See, because before coming to Krishna consciousness, Krishna is there. Before we accepted Krishna consciousness, all the acharyas were there. But now, after coming to Krishna consciousness, what is the change? How the change will happen? Everything which they are giving, we should try to follow diligently. Why? Also, we need to know the reason. Because I want to please them. I want to please Srila Prabhupada. I want to please my spiritual master. I want to do for them. Because if I know for sure, 100%, I know if they, Hare Krishna, can somebody mute? Hare Krishna. So, I know that if they are happy, definitely Krishna will be. For sure. I will write it down to your devotees. I many times personally have seen that reflection in my heart. I have seen this. If my spiritual master is happy, Krishna is happy. How Krishna happiness is revealed in the heart? Through how the things are happening in my life, in our life. You will see. And then through that, what happens? Conviction. This is how Srila Prabhupada actually built that conviction in his heart. Just imagine the devotee. None of them, his family members were also not congenial to the process. Nobody was supporting. He was alone, fighting alone. None of his god brothers were supporting. Prabhupada, even after coming to America, I was telling to his god brothers, please come. There is great opportunity in the city of New York. We will establish Radha Krishna deities here, and then you can come. You manage the temple, and then I will just do some service. Just see the nature. He is in that mode of Sankirtana. Sankirtana means what? Union, unity, unity. Through this unity only, Krishna consciousness is established, dear devotees. But none of them came. And he was not dejected. He continued. Whoever comes to him, he gave Krishna consciousness to them. He gave love and affection to them. And they simply accepted it. And they did great services. It all happened through that relationship. This has to be established in our heart, dear devotees. When these things are established in our heart, then no matter what happens in our life or no matter which situation we've been kept in, we will always remember. For example, a difficult situation comes. I always remember how Srila Prabhupada, he lost everything in his life. And I see my spiritual master also, nobody was helping him actually. Nobody was helping, but still he was not, he was not giving it up. He continued doing it again and again. Continued. And then the place where he established the temple, in South India, that is also downgraded, most downgraded place. The people they use just for this, the moment they open their mouth, they speak bad language. That kind of area. Where people are ready to kill the other person for 1,000 rupees. That kind of an area. That kind of an area he used. Krishna gave him that area, and then it's a beautiful community now. Wonderful devotees. Wonderful services. How all this happened? A devotee's sacrifice. There are devotees, nothing will happen in this world until the conception of sacrifice comes into one's consciousness. See, all these regulations for a person who is really practicing Krishna consciousness, he will immediately take these things and then he will make his life perfect and then he will move forward. For the person who still has, just like Bhukti Kamis, Bhukti Kami means over endeavoring for materialistic desires. Over endeavoring, devotee means there is no endeavor actually. But we see devotees also over endeavoring for materialistic desires. That means we need to understand that he's not in the platform of devotee. He's aspiring to become a devotee. He's not yet a devotee. That clarity we should have. We should have that clarity with ourselves also. If we are over endeavoring to something in this world, then we need to understand in our heart and heart that I am not yet a devotee. You need to be convinced with this. When a sadhaka comes to this platform, then he will not find faults with others. Because he will protect his consciousness. Because he knows he is not yet there, but he wants to aspire to that consciousness. Just like us, we are not yet there. But we want to aspire for that consciousness. What is that consciousness? Pure devotion service. For the pleasure of the Acharya, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. Because he has given his life and soul, dear devotees. And whoever does tinge of pure devotion towards that person, ticket to back to God, it is sanctioned. Dear devotees, not through our rounds, one will go back to the spiritual world. Not through some services, one will go back to the spiritual world. Then how a person will go back to the spiritual world in this age of Kali? Yes, it says, Kaled dojani de rajanastikya komada mahan guna kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. This is the greatest benediction. This age of Kali is to chant the holy names of the Lord. Yes. And they also say another thing. Again, you remember last week we discussed about this. Oh, this is very important, dear devotees. This has to be digested completely into our consciousness. It should go into every nitty-gritty bits into our consciousness. We should inject this into our consciousness. What was that? The state of consciousness which Ajamil lived at the time of his death. He was completely a materialistic person. But through that relationship with his son, what he did, he chanted the names of Narayana. Because he was actually calling his son out of fear. But through that chanting, Nam Namakari Bhavada Nijasa Sarvashakti Tatra Arpita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha. Here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing us a process that I do not have taste, but I want to aspire for that taste. Krishna, please give. This is a more dear devotees. Even though Ajamila doesn't know this, what he did, he chanted the names of Narayana. Through that chanting, he was not aspiring for Bhukti Kami, which we are seeing here, which Srila Prabhupada is writing, or Mukti Kami. He's not looking for liberation. He's not looking for Bhukti. Bhukti means materialistic endeavors. Or he's not looking for Jnana. He's not looking for Dhyana. That is also not there through his chanting. Right? Through his helpless state. He was calling out the names of Narayana. And then that Narayana was also given by another sadhu's association. He did not name his son just like Narayana. It is through that sadhu's mercy he named his son as Narayana. Because he is completely engrossed in materialistic life, who will give him a consciousness or a thought that his last child has to be named as Narayana? He already begotten 10 children with his prostitute wife. He kicked off his family. He's kicked off his father and mother. Who is giving him that consciousness? That sadhu gave him that consciousness. So what he did, he followed the instructions of the sadhu. Through that following the instructions of the sadhu, he was able to chant the names of Narayana at the time of death. Just see how association is very contagious, very helpful in this. Because if you see, all the hippies, they were all just completely absorbed in their consciousness. But who changed them? Srila Prabhupada came and then changed them. Likewise, who changed in the life of Ajamil? That sadhu came and he told him, because that sadhu knows perfectly, that pure devotee, he knows perfectly that this person will only take this. He cannot do more than this. He can, if the sadhu preaches him, oh, you practice Krishna consciousness, you are not this body, you are powerful spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. He wouldn't have taken up that process because he is not there to accept it. For example, a person who is going right on the street, who's kind of drinking, if I ask him to come sit in the Bhagavatam and then surrender everything, will he understand? And if I say him Sarvadharman Parityaja, you should surrender everything. He will say, I am already surrendered. His surrender is in the mode of ignorance. But our acharyas are telling that surrender, which is continuous, that should be in the mode of goodness. But he cannot do that. Likewise, Ajamila was not able to do that. So, through the time, place, circumstances, that sadhu told him, you just name your son as Narayana. That's it. And somehow, when he chanted Narayana, Narayana, he developed an affection with his child. Just see how beautifully this is working. Through the sadhu's association, Shraddha, Shraddhe, Vishwashe, Shraddhuda Nishya. What is the first thing? Shraddha. Then what? Sadhu Sangha. Then what? Bhajan Kriya. It happened, na? Even though Ajamila is not a devotee, these three things happened. You see, Shraddha came. Through that little Shraddha, he obeyed to that sadhu. Even though he's a drunkard, he obeyed that sadhu because he had that previous life, right? He was a Brahmana. He obeyed that diligently. And then through that obeying, what happens? Through that, he took the sadhu sangha. Then he did what? Even though he's chanting his son's name, through the chanting, he's doing what? Bhajana Kriya. And then through that Bhajana Kriya, he's developed an attachment to his son. That is the way how he developed attachment to his son. It didn't happen just like that. ISKCON was not established just like that. So many devotees, they gave their life actually for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. They surrendered their life. That is their life and soul actually. They do not have any other business in this world. They are there in this world to serve them. That's it. No other business. Through that business only, they take care of the family. Through that business only, they take care of kids and everything. Through that business only, they do work. They go to office for that business only. Or if they want to quit for that business only, they will quit. Nothing is mine. Nothing is ours. This is a state of consciousness which we need to cultivate in our life. And again, all this state of consciousness is for what? For whom? For whom? Why are we doing? Why are we coming? Why are we discussing? To please Srila Prabhupada. To please the spiritual master. This is a service. Hearing, trying to understand. Not trying to find faults with anyone in this world. This world is, the material world means full of faults only. Who doesn't have faults here? Material world means faults, fault finding. That's it. Two things. Because this is external energy. But see, through that bhajana kriya, he developed attachment. And then just see, at the end of his life, he chanted offenselessly. He was chanting Nama Bas. Dear devotees, this Nama Bas consciousness comes through association. That means technically, Kaled Dosha Nide Rajan Asti Kya Mahan Guna, Kirtana Deva Krishna Mukta Sangha Paranoj. Yes, in this age of Kali, this is the only thing. But this comes because to come out of Nama Parad is not easy, dear devotees. It's not easy. It's not easy. If you try to diligently chant, it's not easy. That is the reason what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told in the second sloka, Nam Nam Akadi Bhaurda. My dear Lord, do not have any taste. One should accept this. Then through their mercy, one will come to the state of Trinadapi Sanichena. Thorough yourself. Amani Naman. Kirtanas. Then there is progress in sadhaka's life. Then after that, na dhanam na janam. Then after that, when he's convinced with that, then he will give it up. Then he will give up the sex life. Oh, it's a very science actually. A lot of people will tell, just give up sex life. No, it will not work like that. No, it's not. It will not work like that. It's a process. It's a step by. For example, dear devotees, you construct a building. What do first? You put pillars, right? Foundation. If you want to make 10 floor, 10-story building, then the foundations has to be strong, right? Then only the building will be sustained for like 50 years or whatever it is, right? So through that only, sadhaka, the person, he can construct the building. So likewise, Srila Prabhupada is telling materialistic desires, materialistic endeavor, materialistic sense enjoyment, these are all futile. But yes, how a sadhaka will come to this state that these are all futile? We should come to the state of the points which we discussed before. Namna Makari Bauda Nija Sarvashaktis. Tatrarpita Niyamita Smara. My dear Lord, I do not have taste. Please, my dear Lord, please help. I really want to chant. Please. Then when the sadhaka comes to that state, then he will tell, oh, okay, you are coming to the state now. Now do this. Trinadapi Shanichana. Tharoriva Saishna. Amanina Manadena. Then you can do Kirtaniya Sadhari. Just like how Ajamila, he chanted through attachment, through raga only actually. If you say actually technically see, that is through raga. Even though he is developing an attachment through the name, but that is to his son, that is also tinged with raga. With raga means attachment, right? Attachment to his son. But through that attachment, another attachment is coming without his presence. He is chanting the names of Narayana. Very powerful. But this all happened through what? Through sadhu sangha. And whoever forgets the sadhu sangha, dear devotees, this will not manifest in his heart. For example, if I am speaking left and right, and if I forget my spiritual master who have given me this consciousness, then the speaking of left and right will be stopped that day. That's a fact. I realized that also. That's a fact actually. The moment we begin, for example, I'll give another example, which I like this so much. Last year when I came to India, before we after completion of our Vrindavan Yatra with my spiritual master. Also, another important aspect which I wanted to bring it up. If through emergency we can go, I'm not pointing to anyone in particular. Through emergency, if we do not have any time, then it's okay to go, But technically, how one should go to relish the dham is one should go to release the dham with a pure devotee. So after completing the Vrindavan Yatra, this was the greatest thing in my life actually, to go to the dham with my spiritual master. So after completion of the dham, I'm heading back to US. I'll give this beautiful example which I really cherished. I was trying to do some service at the farm. The mango trees were like very dry. So we had to dig. We had to dig heavily because the soil is very hard. You have to dig very diligently. It will take a lot of effort to do that. So after digging that, then we should leave it for some time. Then we should begin work watering. Then that water would go into the roots. Otherwise, if the surface is very hard, and then if I try to pour water, the water will not go inside. The water will slide down. Why am I telling this example? This is a beautiful example to connect to us. So the roots is our spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada. Dear devotees, I repeat again. Who are the roots? Spiritual Prabhupada, our spiritual master. Association of pure devotees. This is the root, right? How do we water them? By tilting our consciousness. How do we take their association? By checking our consciousness, by accepting their instructions as is. So when the sadhaka tilts his consciousness, just like the land is tilted, and it is congenial to put water in it, then it goes in, right? Then what is happening? We are actually taking the roots. That is the right way to take association. Because when we are taking right root association, then what happens? You are the tree. You grow diligently. Very important. Very important. So that's why when words are coming from the heart, if the sadhaka is not accepting or seeing the presence of the spiritual master through those words, because it is only through their consciousness which being kept in this particular situation. If he is forgetting that, dear devotees, our devotion will slacken again. Because what is happening? At every moment, if you are taking their association, we are kept in the internal energy. Otherwise, the moment we stop taking their association, we are kept in the external energy because we are already conditioned. And then now, this time, Maya will be very powerful because we are revolting against her now. What are we doing? Atyahara, Prayasasa, Prajalpa. What are these? These are all revolts. These are all revolts against the material nature. And then she'll be very powerful and then she'll forcefully come towards us. And then we'll be drowned again into this materialistic existence. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, jatare sairam, kadu dukkare, pai samsare sadhu. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govind. There's no Bhaja Govindam, right? Mudamate samprapti sannihite kale nai nai rakshita dukrim karane. This simply jnana or knowledge or understanding or that I am giving class or I am doing this, I am doing that will not help. Because there is no Bhaja Govinda. And that Bhaja Govinda should come with what? With that tilted consciousness of connecting with the roots. When we do this, dear devotees, Hare Krishna will be pleased so much with our service. And through this pleasing, one will go to the spiritual world. Not like at the stage of Nama Prada, chanting the names of the Lord, Oh, I'm seeing Yamaraj here. What happened? I chanted 20, 30 years. Now I'm chanting at the end also. Now I'm seeing Yamadutas. Arey, what's happening? Then they will comment, oh, you chanted all for yourself. You chanted with offenses. You are doing sinful activities on the strength of chanting Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says this is the greatest offense. What is that? Chanting Hare Krishna and then doing sinful activities. That chanting of this Hare Krishna will counteract that sinful. Oh, that is the greatest offense. That is Hatimata Aparad. Mad elephant offense. Another mad elephant offense is what? Vaishnava Aparad. That is also mad elephant offense. Our Bhaktilata sampling is uprooted within a moment. So, dear devotees, this is the greatest gift. We should diligently cultivate. We should have that fencing around our consciousness, just like a tree, just like a sampling is fenced, so that goats do not eat. So that we should also cultivate that fencing in our consciousness. Even though we are in the midst of so many people, but our consciousness should always be for their happiness. It is possible actually. Prabhupada gives this example. The paramour is this wife. She doesn't like husband. She doesn't want like to have. She has a relationship with husband, but she's thinking about her boyfriend. She's there at the home. Prabhupada gives this example. She's there at home, but she's doing all the chores, but her thought process is with that person. So what is he doing? When will I go and meet him? That is what she's thinking, right? So where is she? Is she in the family? No, no, she's not in the she's physical body is present, but her consciousness is there. That means technically where is she? She's not here, she's there. So if a sadhaka tilts his consciousness and he always sees the presence of the Lord, of the Acharyas, or Srila Prabhupada, or how much struggle he has taken, if he is always meditating on that, then what are his devotees? We are not here, we are there with them only. And then through this process, then what happens? Then Trinadapi will come. For sure, Krishna will give. Why not? Krishna will give because you are desiring for that. For a materialistic person, Krishna is giving millions of dollars. Will he not give it to us? He will give. A president might be aspiring to become a president. I want to become president. Oh, Krishna sanction. Oh, okay, go become president. For that only Krishna is sanctioning, even though he will remain for 4 years. Who is sanctioning him? Krishna sanctions him. For a materialistic person is sanctioning, will he not sanction for a devotee? Whose life and soul is that? He'll sanction. He will not leave that devotee. He will never leave that devotee. So our Janasangha should be very, very important. Where are we associating? With whom we are associating? What is materialism? What is impersonalism? Impersonalism is not the people who are just following the principles of Brahmajyoti. That you, me, I, everyone is God. Okay. But what is real impersonal? Impersonalism means removing that person. Impersonal. Impersonal. That means removing this spiritual master, removing the acharyas, directly having relationship with Krishna. That is also impersonal. It's another important aspect. For example, a person is in Krishna conscious. He's thinking that he's practicing Krishna. This is at the neophyte state actually. This person is thinking that he's a devotee. He only has a relationship with the deity in the temple. But he doesn't have any relationship, no relationship with the spiritual master. There's no guide in his life, nothing like that. No. There's no shiksha. He doesn't hear. There's no shiksha guru in his life. Doesn't hear any of those things. But he wants to establish relationship with Krishna. He is also chanting Hare Krishna. This is also impersonal. Because what? He is not giving the importance to our predecessors. Dear devotees, what is there in the spiritual world? This When Mother Yashoda is doing some service to the Lord, let's say Mother Yashoda is bathing Krishna. What is happening behind? Who is doing all those behind process? Collecting that hot water, bringing Gomutra, bringing Panchagavya, bringing some different milks so that Krishna is bathed in that, bringing honey, bringing different things. There are Krishna is not bathed just like that, right? He's bathed diligently, right? And then the how they are washing his hair, you know, what kind of thing they are putting for his body, different materials. And they have to prepare that material, the substances. These are the details, right? And then not just one bucket of water. There's like a lot of water. There are a lot of milk. So much. There's gomutra, different varieties. Mother Earth, Mother Earth, the sand that is also brought. You know, bathing the Lord. Now, who's bringing all of them? The intimate associates of Mother Yashoda. They are also serving. So, are they serving directly to Krishna? No, they're serving Mother Yashoda. Or other associates of Mother Yashoda. There are intimate associates. There are intimate associates of Mother Yashoda. There are next levels of associates of Mother Yashoda. And then there are another set of associates who are serving their superiors. So this is a process. This is personal actually. Because they are simply serving their superiors. Wow, what a beautiful consciousness in the spiritual world. It's like the same thing is manifested on the side of Srimati Radharani also. There's gopis, there's sakis, there's manjaris, then there's manjaris to manjaris, manjaris to manjaris to manjaris. What are they doing? One manjari is telling the other manjari, can you get something so that Krishna will come here? Then immediately she goes and brings that. What is she doing? She's serving the manjari from which she heard. They all have beautiful relationships. Don't they do not have any kind of relation? No, they have deep relationship. They are convinced. This is how the service is happening in the spiritual world. Do we see any tinge of material impersonalism here? No, it's all very personal. One devotee is serving the other devotee. And then that devotee is serving another devotee. That devotee is serving another devotee. That devotee is serving Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda is actually performing the process. And then when Mother Yashoda is performing the process, everyone is very happy, relishable, seeing Mother Yashoda doing that service. We see this when Krishna is lifting Govardhan hill also. We see this beautiful reciprocation among because now what Krishna wants to do? Oh, he wants to associate with every devotee. And at the same time, and he's reciprocating with everyone. Millions of persons are there under the shelter of Giri Govardhan. Krishna is watching them, they are watching Krishna. Mother Yashoda is feeding Krishna. And then none of them are envious towards Krishna that, oh, why only Mother Yashoda is feeding? No, no, no. Their consciousness is pure. They're so happy seeing Mother Yashoda doing that service. If dear devotees, if our consciousness is happy when other devotee is doing a great service, oh, this is another ticket to the spiritual world. This is how we need to develop our consciousness. We need to check our consciousness moment by moment. Because dear devotee, if a service is done for one's own upliftment in in spirituality, then that service will be stopped at a particular time because he's that devotee who's aspiring for that service. He's not connected to his roots. Because the moment he's not connected to his root, please forgive me. The moment he's not connected to his roots, there is no question of the tree sampling growing. That means he will stop someday because there will be a storm or there will be uh, scorching sun, summer. Through that scorching summer or through that storm, the tree sampling will be gone. That means A person who is actually practicing Krishna consciousness for his without developing any relationship is simply doing it. He's simply chanting just to please Krishna without pleasing the predecessor acharyas. He is not connected correctly. Dear devotees, even Lord Chaitanya served Ishvara Puri diligently. The moment I heard this pastime, dear devotees, I was convinced, yes, I need to serve my spiritual master. That's it. No matter if I do not go to the spiritual, that's fine, Krishna, but I will serve my spiritual master diligently. I will catch hold of his lotus feet. This is what I will do in my life. This conviction we need to come. Because, dear devotees, what happens is at different levels we are connected. Everyone were connected through different ways or means. But we should all come to one root, one source. When this happens, then your bhakti will be in goodness, mode of goodness. That means you'll be in stable. That means every day you'll diligently do. Every day you'll diligently hear. Every day you'll diligently follow. Every day you'll try to avoid those 10 offenses. Every day you'll try to come out of this materialistic desires. Bhukti kami, mukti kami. Oh, I will chant for liberation. No, dear Lord, we should all forget that. If you really want to aspire for pure devotion, we should all forget that. We might come. Oh, okay, I will chant Hare Krishna because I'll get liberation. I'll go to the spiritual world. That's okay. But the way, the process is little different. So Srila Prabhupada is very clearly mentioning. Bhuktikamis who are interested in materialistic happiness. Muktikamis who desire liberation by merging in the existence of the formless absolute. And Siddhikamis who desire for perfection for mystic yoga practice. Because why am I telling this is impersonal? As if a person do not develop relationship with one's superiors, with Srila Prabhupada, we will be stopped at the gate of Goloka. They will ask, "Arey, kidhar se aaye aap? Kahan se aaye aap? How you came here?" If we tell their name, then they will give us entry into Goloka. Otherwise, we cannot enter. I'm just giving an example. That's why, if you actually see Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he was leaving his body, he was chanting Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Hey Mora Sampada. Why is he chanting Shri Rupa Manjari Pada? Because he is a Manjari himself. He's a what? He's a Manjari himself is chanting that. Because for him, they are the life and soul. And then he chanted them, he remembered them, he went to their place. Where is that? Where is their place? Spiritual world. Goloka Dham. Goloka is a place of cows. Go Loka, land of cows. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says actually, Krishna, just see Krishna, he loves his devotees so much that he named his spiritual abode not through his name. He did not say Krishna, devotees say Krishna Loka, but he did not name this as Krishna Loka. He named it as Go Loka, this mother cows. And then this very material world where people are killing mother cows, how this world will be happy, dear devotees? You tell me. The same person who gave the name as Goloka, that means just imagine that Krishna is every day with Gomutra, cow dung, cow urine. Krishna is bathed. How much intimate it is to Krishna. I remember in Urunda, and there are festivals, I used to catch hold my hand, trying to see when mother cow will give cow dung. Because the cow dung should not fall on the floor. Because this cow dung will be used for the Abhishek. That very mother cow is being brutally killed in this material world. How this America will be happy? America will never be happy. I'll write it down. They might have money, but the heart will not be happy. For sure. And we are also in America. We do not develop this consciousness, we will never be happy. I will write it down again. We will lead to frustration through Krishna consciousness. Because, why? Because we are in the place of where? This is the place of malicious. Actually, nobody will come to this place. But Srila Prabhupada, he came. This is a place of land of malicious, Yavanas, meat eaters. This is that kind of a place. Nobody will come, but Srila Prabhupada came. Why? To please his spiritual master. Just see his relationship. This is what we need to do. We should follow all these instructions for their pleasure. You begin doing this dear devotee, you will release this Krishna consciousness very, very diligently, core to the heart. And then every instruction will become a revelation in our heart. Then all the atyahara, all the karmic activities, materialistic desires, materialistic sense enjoyment, this, that, they will all be vanished. And through that vanishment, then what happens? Then Nama Aparada is no longer there. It will come to Nama Bhas. Then what do you do in Nama Bhas? You continuously chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Then what happens? Anartha Nivritti is gone. Then Nishta will come. Then slowly, Ruchi, Asakti, Prema, Bhava, Sthai Bhava. This is how one will actually see the presence, and then through there, this is how is it all happening? Through all of these stages, sadhaka is always connected to his roots, to his spiritual master, to his acharyas, and he's simply doing it for their pleasure. This is called as Acharyopasana, which Krishna stresses in 13th chapter of Gita diligently. He says, whoever does to the platform of Acharyopasana diligently, over to his heart, he will come to the platform of Sattva. Because he's kept in the internal energy of the Lord. And then continuously, he's doing his every action, every step for their pleasure. Because when they are happy, who is happy? Shri Shri Radha Chandra. Krishna, he's happy. They are happy. Through their happiness, we will relish this process more and more. That's how sadhaka will slowly come or advance. And Srila Prabhupada is also mentioning about niyamagraha. Niyamagraha. What is niyamagraha? The stresses. There's a dash on the A. Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha means following the principles diligently, strictly. Niyamagraha means rejecting. Just a small gap. Niyama means what? Rules and regulations. When sadhaka comes to this platform, that this person is the most selfless person. Yes, Srila Prabhupada is the most selfless person. And every instruction which he speaks is absolute truth. You see, it is absolute truth actually. Srila Prabhupada simply repeated the words of Rupa Goswami. Simply repeated. And then how did he repeated those words also? Through the mercy of them. Srila Prabhupada, if you actually, Prabhupada has been asked many times, how did you wrote all these books, such a beautiful books? Every book is a nectar. Then Srila Prabhupada immediately said, it is all by their mercy. Simply repeated. Actually, they wrote. They wrote. This is Guru Parampara. They will never take credit for themselves. Just like a child, will child ever tell that, oh, this is all happening because of me? If the child has a relationship with his parents, he will always remember his parents. He will tell, oh, this is my father's cause. This is my father's uh, services, or this is my father's reciprocation to me. It is only through his mercy I'm here sitting. It is only because of him I'm here. But he will never forget. So likewise, Srila Prabhupada is never forgetting the spiritual master. So we should also never forget them. They are our life and soul. Our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, they are our life and soul. So never ever forget. The moment we forget, everything is gone. Dear devotees, a sadhaka should always aspire for this state of consciousness. Just like Jayadeva Goswami, which we discussed yesterday. Just see this person, these thieves, they're like plundering, they plundered everything. They cut off his hands, they cut off his legs, so much discomfort. But still, he was seeing, just see, he said, through that state of consciousness, I was remembering the Lord more diligently. Because who has kept me in that state of consciousness? These persons. So they have to be awarded. Kya hai? What is this? What is this? This is something deep actually. That means at every moment they're seeing the presence of the Lord. No matter this is winter, rainy season, summer season, doesn't matter. Every moment they are doing this. Again and again. Again, let me do this for you. Let me do this. This is the consciousness which we need to cultivate more and more. So, a sadhaka should always aspire to this niyamagraha. Let me follow. Let me follow this diligently. Okay, whatever happened, that's fine. That's fine. From today, let me do this more sincerely. Then Krishna will be pleased and we will make a lot of progress. Hare Krishna. So I will stop here. Anyone has any comments, questions? I hope I did not, keep you in difficult situation through my words. Anyone has anything to add, share? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam, all wish to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, trying to grasp as much as I can while you're saying. So, thank you for reinstating the importance of connecting to Guru Parampara, connecting to Guru by diligently serving them. Serving them in the sense may not be physically, but consciously for sure. Thinking through the way that they respond to the situation. So situations are. This is my takeaway, Prabhuji. Not a question. Don't have a question.
Please share.
Yeah, situations are there for the acharyas as well, but the way they respond to that situation is something that I need to focus on whenever the situation arises for me. That way we connect to the acharya through the consciousness, not just not physically, but through consciousness. And consciousness is what would be taking us to Golok. So this is my takeaway, Pro. And in Golaka also, they would be checking, hey, through whom did you come over here? So they will always check. So that's something new that I learned today, Prabhuji. Thank you so very much for always giving that hope to connect to Guru Parampara, and then giving that nectar on how beautiful is this process of Krishna consciousness. Thank you so very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Actually, when we connect through consciously, physical also we connect. So, because consciousness is everything. Because we are a conscious being. That is everything actually. That's why Srila Prabhupada named this as Krishna consciousness. If he would have said, if it is a mere activity, he would have told Krishna activities, International Society for Krishna Activities. But he said no, it is consciousness. So how is this consciousness? How is this consciousness uplifted? Because we always have consciousness. Every person in this world, they have consciousness, right? From dog, cat, everyone has consciousness. But that consciousness has to be transformed to actually see the presence of the Lord, to actually see their mercy. It's only through that transformed consciousness one can actually see that. Otherwise, uh, sadhaka cannot actually see that. That's why I've seen devotees. They would tell why these many services, why these things, why that thing, why not this, why not this. Start complaining means that means they never worked on that consciousness. They are doing, but the consciousness was never. They were not part of any kind of training, which is the most important. Training on the consciousness is the most important, and that we learn through the through his divine grace Bhakti from Srila Prabhupada's nectar of instruction. Because these are all nectars actually. These are all intricate. His heart actually. Every line is his heart. Every line is a revelation. So when we see from that perspective, we will develop nice relationship and then we will move forward. Because devotion means it's only with relationship. Otherwise, for example, mother, she wakes up at 3 in the morning because child is wet. She has to change the dress and she again sleeps. She gives milk, she again sleeps. If there is no relationship, the mother will always be frustrated. Are yaar, why you woke up at this time? This time is awkward time. You shouldn't have woke up. But mother never takes like that. Because she feels the relationship. So likewise, if a sadhaka develops that consciousness, then being submissive, being gentle, being non-envious, being compassionate, being coming to the platform of goodness, following niyamagraha, not niyamagraha, following niyamagraha, following the rules and regulations, it becomes very joyful process. Actually, Krishna consciousness is a natural joyful. Are you are actually establishing a relationship with your father. That is Krishna consciousness. What is Krishna consciousness? Krishna consciousness is established relationship with your father. Krishna is your father. You are establishing that through. And all these acharyas, we all have a relationship with them also. Because through that relationship only the relationship with the Supreme Father is established. They are all our fathers. But he is a Supreme Father. Now Brahmaji is our father. He is also teaching beautiful lessons through his life in Bhagavatam. We discussed few days back. So everything is a lesson for us. Because if the child is very submissive, if a child is very simple, he's not like arrogant, he's not this, he's not that, then what he does, he will, Father, you tell me, you just tell me, I'll follow you. Because as I remember, I was just leaving because tomorrow my flight is to US. So tomorrow I'm heading to US. So tomorrow I might not have class because I have to pack everything. So today is the last class, and then again once I'm in US, I think I'll land in America. 1 second. Sorry, wanted to tell you when we will have our next class. Okay, today is fourth, so fifth, sixth, seventh. We will have seventh, fifth, and sixth. We will not have because fifth and sixth I'll be in flight. We will have seventh morning again. So 2 days we will not have. So when I was leaving, my daughter was telling, "Can you stay for a couple of more days? I don't want to miss you." Then at that time I realized, Are Krishna also told us that. Why are you going to the material world? Stay here. Why are you leaving me? Krishna told us actually. or through our arrogance to enjoy in separation of the Lord. We said, Krishna, I'll come back soon. And this is where we are. We came to the Brahmaloka. We took association of Brahmaji. Brahmaji also told, he's our father, right? No, we should go back. Krishna is the master, go. He said, no, Brahmaji, let me go further. I want to explore this. Brahmaji said, I created this. Why you want to explore this again? There is nothing here. You go back. Then we said, no, we rebelled, right? We are rebellious kids now. No, we said, no, I want to explore this. So we came to different planets. We came to Sargalok also, Indraji. There also. Then we came here finally. Finally, we are here. Now it is up to us from here. We again have to re-establish our relationship with the Lord and then go back. That is our business actually. This business of this life is to establish this consciousness, correct our consciousness. We do not have any other business, dear devotees here. This is the business. Krishna gave all of you beautiful intelligence. For what? To establish this. To be convinced with this process and then finish the business and then go back home. Chant Hare Krishna diligently. Don't find faults with anyone. Chant Hare Krishna. Read Prabhupada books. Do Shravana. Take association daily. Finish the business. Go back home. Don't interfere with other person's life. If you have relationship with that person, then bring him also to Krishna consciousness. No relationship, then stay where you are. Do your sadhana. Diligently move forward. But always try to work on this consciousness, dear devotees. 24 hours we have an opportunity to uplift our consciousness and then do a better service. Because Krishna is watching that. Only Bhava Grahi is a Bhava. He's watching the Bhava. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhu.
you, Sushil Bhavanti. Please continue diligently, taking this process seriously, and then move forward. Hare Krishna. Yes, Bhaswati Mataji, please talk.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji
Yeah.
very nicely explained you about the gradual process to uplift in Krishna consciousness, Shraddha, then Bhajan Kriya, then Anartha Nibritti, and I really like the one where you said that it don't come abruptly. There is a process, and we need to follow the process to uplift in Krishna consciousness, which is very very nicely you said, Prabhu. And I have a question about, in general,
Please
spiritual master, like following the instructions of spiritual master. So, Prabhuji, it's in ISKCON, gurus are like, it's not possible always to interact with Guru directly, means it's not possible to do Bapu Shiva. And so we have to focus on Bani Shiva. So in that case, following the, do the service for the Guru. So means the instructions Guru is giving in general to his disciples, we have to follow that, right? So sometimes in Shastras or Gurus directly tell his disciple, okay, follow this, do this one, this is your job. So disciple will jump on it, doing it. But if not, then should a disciple follow the Bani Sheba only, or directly talk to the Guru if he or she get the chance to talk to the Guru and ask him directly what should be my service or what service I should focus on?
Thank you. Very nice. Very brought up. Very nice point. I'll tell my example. I'm initiated by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in New York City, 0521-2017, May 21st, 2017. That was the initiation day. I did not ask this question personally. It was been asked by other devotees. Because it is very difficult to get association with the initiating spiritual master, which is Diksha Guru. Very difficult to get personal association, which is a fact. What you said is absolutely true. So, what was that question? What did the devotee was asking was, which was very instrumental, very practical question, just like similar to what you asked. The devotee was asking, Maharaj, how do we please you? That's what the question is. Because if he knows if he is pleased, then Krishna is pleased, right? Then he said, please your superiors. He said, have a shiksha. Have a instructing spiritual master in your life and then serve him diligently, please him. If you follow your superiors, I will be happy. Now it is up to us. We need to find who our superiors, who are instructing spiritual masters. There's two spiritual masters: initiating spiritual master, instructing spiritual master. Initiating is Diksha spiritual master, instructing is Shiksha spiritual master. And he said, you please your superiors. That's what he said, and then he left. So now sadhaka, this Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, he says, approach the spiritual master. But for some devotees, instructing spiritual master, initiating spiritual master will both be same in some devotees' life. That is well and good. Instructing that means he takes instructions from him, he hears from him regularly, and then he follows his instructions, and then he gets the service from him, and then he does it diligently, right? But for everyone, it is not possible. In my case also, it was not possible. Then my job began from that day to find my instructing spiritual master. Hare Krishna. So then since last 6 years, I have been instructing spiritual master. And then whatever he says, I'll do. That's my life. So this service, which we are doing now here, this is actually guided by my instructing spiritual master. So the relationship should be developed in that way. If you have an if you are initiated, if you have Diksha Guru, if that person is also the instructing spiritual master, well and good, because you have that relation. But if you do not have, then try to find. Now, the purpose of the life is to find that person. Then, wow, then your life will be in a great position, because that's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. What he says is, approach the spiritual master, inquire from him, get the service. Once you receive the service, that is your life and soul. Now today, this service is my life and soul. It's given by my spiritual master. This is what connecting to the roots, which we discussed in the class. Now, practical application. See, Krishna consciousness means what? It should be practical. We should know for whom we are doing, why we are doing. Then everything will open up. You will get the essence of everything. And that gives the clarity. Then we will jump on to the service, as you said, and then we will try to please him. Hare Krishna. Is that okay, Amma? Baswati Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, very nicely explained, Prabhu. But I have a follow-up question.
Definitely. Please ask.
So, Prabhu, actually, it's always, everyone is not like that fortunate to get instructing spiritual master. And it's hard to building relationship, because instructing spiritual master, like with whom devotee should have a very clear relationship, where they can clearly say everything about his life or her life.
Correct.
To proceed. So it's not possible, especially for Matajis, because most of the instructing spiritual master, the Prabhujis, I'm so sorry, Prabhu, maybe I'm asking something, but it's stuck in my mind.
No, please ask.
So that's why, like, how a Mataji can get instructing spiritual master with with the Mataji, like, so that she can tell everything, she can speak, she can share her limitations, challenges, etc. Like, that's what my question in ISKCON, Prabhuji. Sorry, maybe I'm asking something which is...
No. Actually, we might. This is a. See, from our side, we see as Prabhuji and Mataji, but from their side, they see on a soul platform. We have those differences, but generally they do not. So that's why, right? That is the reason we need to develop relationship. It's like a father who develops relationship, right? Just like a child, he has a relationship with his parents, right? So likewise, the factor to have that the person in one's life. See, one thing is for sure, Amma. We should find that kind of a person in one's life who can actually guide us in Krishna consciousness. I know my spiritual master, he guides so many Matajis also. So there is no, because they always see them in the soul platform. Arey, forget about that. He even, I know personally, he even solves their family problems. This level of relationship one should establish, because they are devotees. Unless and until this relationship is established, then how can a person know the other person? How can the person can help him? For example, you go to the doctor and then you say this is my problem, right? Because you trust that PCP, you have he's a good doctor. And then you share your problem and he will give some medicines and then that's it. So likewise, find that kind of a person in one's life where you can trust. Because it is only through that trust, it is only through that, give and take, one will make further advancement in Krishna consciousness. Very important. Very, very. What you are bringing up is a very, very important aspect, which not just you, everyone has to think about this. Dear devotees, that should be your life goal. Find a person in your life. I remember my spiritual master telling, if you do not find then another devotee was asking a question. Oh, I did not find that kind of a person. Then that's your problem. You should find that kind of a person. Now you are hearing, you are understanding the scripture, you are understanding. Now you know how the spiritual master is, how he is. The moment you understand that, then you jump on and then, take their association more and more. And then try to diligently follow. So whoever is connecting your heart, Amma, there your this another question will come. Who should I take? Wherever you are getting inspiration, wherever your heart is connecting, wherever you're aspiring to do more and more devotional service, take that association more and more.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, it's a very nicely explained, and now I'm convinced. Like, yes, and if I have like sincere endeavor, I think Krishna and the Guru will definitely connect with the...
Oh yeah, definitely. If you are sincere, Krishna will send that kind of a sincere devotee in your life as that instructing, as that Shiksha Guru, and then he will guide you. Just continue hearing more and more. Try to develop relationship. Try to hear every day. Your heart will tell. This is what my spiritual master told me also. He said this process is a very practical process. It's not like superficially, सब लोग कर रहे हैं हम भी करेंगे. It's not like that. Devotee has to have the desire. सब लोग चल रहे हैं, सब लोग बोल रहे हैं Golaka is great, let me also do. No, it's not like that. You should also have that desire. It all comes through the desire. Because Krishna is giving that independence. Because we all have that independence. Then it will make sense. We should be dedicated to this process more and more. When we remain in that process, when we connect more and more, we'll release this process. Krishna consciousness is a great, great thing. I know so many of my friends whom I later on connected to my spiritual master. They're so happily relishing the process of devotional service now. They're so happy. They're joyful. I had one sad incident in my life where, due to not establishing that relationship, a devotee had to leave his body because he was there in the process, but his heart was not aspiring for that. He had to leave his body. That happened many, many years back. Then that day I was convinced, dude, Krishna consciousness means really Krishna consciousness, not superficially. Even one devotee takes in that way, that one devotee is protected from the shackles of this material nature. Even one devotee, one devotee. I'll give another example. The person is practicing Krishna consciousness, and on the other side, he is actually trying to develop more and more assets. What is that sign showing? It is a clear indication that this person's conviction is not with Krishna, but this person's conviction is with the material nature. It's a clear fact. Very clear. So, all these things are revelations in one's consciousness. To see, hey, am I really Krishna conscious? For example, if Krishna comes into your dream and then he asks this question, are you really practicing Krishna consciousness? What did you do for me? If Krishna started asking, or what did you do to my pure devotee? Or if you started asking, what did you do to Srila Prabhupada? Then I was just thinking, what would be our answer? So the more we hear, the more we will be convinced with the process. The more we will make progress. Otherwise, material nature is ready to pull us away. It can pull us away now. It can before it pull us away, we should take this process diligently. So many devotees living this process. Why? Nobody's relishing that taste. Nobody's getting that taste. They're coming. They're also going. This shouldn't happen. If devotee is coming, they shouldn't go. They should stay. How they will stay? If they're trained on the process. They should be trained on this science. This is a science, dear devotees. We discussed, right? Ajamila, he took the association of Sadhu Sangha. Then he was able to do Bhajan Kriya. Even though he was doing with attachment, even though he's chanting his son's name, at the end of his life, that was a protector for him. Just see, that sadhu helped so much in his life. Just imagine only Ajamila took that sadhu's association in this way, but he took it completely. He followed it diligently. And then he applied. He was submissive. He applied. And then he worked on it. And it gave him results. So when we do that, then we will see progress and advancements in our consciousness. Hare Krishna. Is that okay, Bhaswati Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji, for explaining that so nicely and giving me more time to understand. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Yes,
Hare
Ramani
Krishna.
Prabhu, please talk.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, please accept Mangala
Dandavat
blessings.
Pranam.
Please talk.
Please accept
Hand
our
over.
blessings as well. Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, please have safe travels, and thank you so much for giving us such valuable contributions every day. Each and every day we learn or we remember or something is said to us that help us to encourage our spiritual life at a higher level. We are grateful to you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Amshilas Prabhu, for sharing that at the beginning, your experiences.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful discussion today. It was, oh, sorry, Prabhuji. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Prabhuji. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Yeah. No, Prabhuji. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Maybe one day you can share all the other glorifications of Vrindavan Yatra. Thank you, Neela Govind Prabhuji. It was very, I know it is not easy for me, but at least listening every day, I'm hoping that it will purify my heart. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Anyone else would like to add anything before we jump off? Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Grace Neela Govind Prabhu ki jai. Ram Shri
Jai.
Devotees ki jai.
Thank you,
Jai.
Prabhu.
Srila Prabhupada.
Vanshakal Pratar Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pasindu Vacha Patidanam Pavane